Welcome to Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League, presented by 78 Sports. My name is Owen Shadrick. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether you are watching or listening. This is season 6 of episode 6 of Back to the Futures. We hope that you've enjoyed our last 5 episodes and continue to listen for the rest of this offseason as we prepare for Futures League baseball. Roster announcements continue to flow in as the Vermont Lake Monsters have announced a number of returners, including Wyatt Cameron and Francis Ferguson. We're excited to have those guys back. And the Futures League continues to dominate in the college baseball world. Make sure to tune in for that. We also continue to have Pete Wilk in our hearts as he battles brain cancer. The Dig In for Pete bracelet link will continue to be in the caption below. On this episode, we have TJ Wachter, a former Worcester Braveheart who is at Fordham this season. He talks about Worcester last summer and his season so far at Fordham, as well as these many high schools and his journey throughout his baseball career. We can't wait for you guys to hear it, so we're going to get to this interview. Here is TJ Wachter. We are honored to welcome on our next guest here on Back to the Futures. He spent the 2022 season in Worcester with the Bravehearts and is currently doing his thing at Fordham University. It's TJ Wachter. TJ, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, man. And right off the bat here, how have you felt so far this season as you guys are about 14 games in now?
So far the guys are picking it up. The beginning of the year, it was a little bit of a roller coaster for us. We felt like nothing was really going our way, playing against some really, really good teams down south. Started at Dallas Baptist and Old Dominion, North Florida. Seemed like every time we had a little bit of something going our way, we kind of just got hit in the gut and then couldn't really get any momentum going. But as of lately, the guys are playing a lot better. Definitely coming together as a unit. Have a lot of guys stepping up and playing huge roles for us that we needed with some guys going down. So playing a lot better right now. So the guys are looking good.
Yeah, it's always a slower start when you're coming off the off season. So it's good that you guys are starting picking up now and trying to figure it out here.
Yep, absolutely.
And I mentioned off the top, this summer you played for the Bravehearts in the Futures League. What was this summer like for you overall?
Worcester was one of the best summers I've had. Honestly, it was just being able to play every day with those guys in an atmosphere like that with a coaching staff that kind of didn't even view them as coaches sometimes, or honestly just like teammates. The way we bonded with them, it was one of the best summers I've had in a very long time. And big shout out to Dion and all the guys behind the scenes at Worcester. They did a really good job over there.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that. You know, coaching is so important in this league, and Alex Dion is kind of the epitome of that. How has he helped you in your baseball journey, and what role did he play in that clubhouse to bring you guys closer together?
Honestly, just the fire and the competitiveness that he brought every day. And one thing that motivated me was he just had a kid over the summer too, and him coaching multiple teams. He was like always at the ballpark, and every day he was the same person, like bringing the same energy. And when you play 70 something games over the summer, like it's really hard to do that, even as a college kid with everything that we're doing. And it was that's what really got me. It was the fire and motivation that he brought every day. That's what he did, and it definitely, that compassion, we definitely felt it in the locker room. So that was one thing that he did that we loved about him.
Yeah, that's awesome. And balancing being a dad and a baseball coach is not easy. But as you said, you know, he had that fire and passion for the game that, you know, you see in a lot of coaches, but specifically in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this summer, Worcester had plenty of cool promotions and activities that you guys seemingly were always a part of, which was really cool to watch. What was it like being part of that? And what was kind of your favorite thing that you experienced this summer in Worcester?
Yeah, that was something I've never done before, doing all the activities during the even during the games at times. My favorite was my birthday. We did the school game where all the kids from school took off, and we had like 4,000 kids there. We would do like kickball and a bunch of different stuff during the game. So I thought that was pretty cool. I came out one game in like a pink police car. That was that was one of my favorites as well. But yeah, all those activities, it kind of with like I said before, playing 70 games a year, it always made it fun in a way. So obviously you can't do that all the time, but over the summer it was something I definitely enjoyed.
Yeah, we always talk about how the Futures League for the players, it's a lot of coming back and developing your craft before you go back for the season. You said it's 70 games, so it's good to get those games where the kids are really into it, or you guys are changing the rules a little bit, or doing pie eating contests, stuff like that, just to keep it fresh. Because obviously, at school you're not doing pie eating contests.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what summer ball is really about, is just having fun and getting your reps in. So I think that aspect was something that definitely helped with that.
Yeah, and one other thing that they did very well was bring out a multitude of jerseys that you guys wore during the season. I got to ask, which one was your favorite?
I like the go-to lime green ones Friday nights. Those are my favorites. You knew once you had those ones on that you were expecting a big crowd and a lot of energy. So I'd say that one was my favorite.
Yeah, those are always I don't know the word, not like sight for sore eyes, but a sight for it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
It's a great looking jersey.
exactly. Yeah. Then you got like the green bases and everything. Yeah. It's like one of the ones that the fans look forward to.
100%. And your teammate and fellow first baseman Gavin Noriega was one of the many talented players on this team. He won MVP, obviously. What was it like playing not only alongside him, but having that locker room so close? Because it seemed like every time we were in Worcester, you guys were smiles on your face, having the time of your life.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you come to one game, you could see like how talented Gavin is. Like, seemed like every at bat he was either barreling a ball or just missing it. Like, even his outs, you could tell like he was taking hacks and you just got a little lucky getting him out. But the best thing with Gavin was like similar to Dion was the energy he brought every day. Like, and that really motivated all the guys as well. Like he's a lot more than just a great ball player. And I feel like that was one thing with Gavin, his energy. And I always say when your teammates are hitting, it helps you more. So that was watching him this summer was a lot of fun too, and playing alongside him.
Yeah, and Gavin, obviously a veteran to the league. You were newer to the league when you started this season, but it seemed like everybody kind of gravitated toward you and him throughout the year as leaders in the clubhouse and as guys that are going to bring that energy every day. Would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, I like just being myself and one I feel like with Gavin too, it's just always being there for your teammates and being yourself every day. So a lot of other guys in the locker room did the same thing. It was a really special, fun group of guys to be around. So I feel like we all just built on each other.
And earlier in the summer, we did have you mic'd up, which was pure comedy, by the way, going back and listening to that. But one of the things you did quite often was talk to the guys at first base. And I got to ask, is that a strategic thing? Is that you're just like looking for someone to talk to when they come to first base?
Yeah, it's just me like trying to just talk with somebody, honestly. It's nothing strategic trying to get them off guard. It's just me being my friendly self, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to guys previously who played first base on the show, and they're like, "Yeah, I talk to the guys to get in their heads, and then they'll try and get thrown out at second." I'm like, "That's new, but it's do what you can to try and
Yeah, I'll tell them to like steal a base. We're try and get picked off, like just joking around. But yeah, I'm never trying to get in their head. It's more just friendly talk.
That's good. You got to keep. I mean, you got to keep it friendly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Same with the first base coaches too.
Oh, true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think during our mic'd up interview, they had players for Pittsfield on first base, and it seemed like you were talking to them every inning.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially during summer ball when it's that type of environment, if it's not like a really close game where things are getting serious, I just like to keep it cool.
Absolutely. And one person who, well, keep it cool is a big word, but is the GM of the Bravehearts, Dave Peterson, who he does keep it cool with his dance moves during the ninth inning, trying to distract the pitcher. As we said, looking for strategy. There's a strategy right there. If you were given the opportunity, would you dance with Dave Peterson in the ninth inning in a rally jacket to try and get the team going?
I would do it maybe once or twice. I don't know how he does it every single day. That's another guy when you talk about energy. Like I've never met anybody like Peterman. He is one of the nicest, like most compassionate guys I've met. The way he interacts with fans, you have to see him at camps. Like it was a lot of fun. He's a super funny guy. So I feel like he's, like I said, behind the scenes before. He's the man behind the scenes. Like without him, you don't have the Worcester Bravehearts. So
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. He's definitely the energy in that ballpark every single night. And one thing about Worcester, you talked about behind the scenes. One thing about Worcester in this league that is so special is the involvement and dedication from the top, from ownership all the way down. And there's no secret that John Creedon loves his teams, especially the Bravehearts. What does it mean to see that type of dedication at the highest level?
from the player's perspective, it means the world because it kind of just lets you play ball and do what you love. You don't have to worry about anything off the field, nothing like that. You're treated amazing. The host families do a great job. Um, you're treat even when you go out in public, a lot of people know who you are, and it's all because of them, really. Like we're just college kids playing baseball, and they pretty much provide us a huge platform in Worcester. And I mean that's why Worcester is one of the greatest places to play. I feel like in the summer I haven't been many places playing summer ball other than travel ball in high school. But the atmosphere and being able to like build relationships with fans because of it, because so many of them are coming to so many games, it's all just you gotta give all the credit to them.
Yeah, it's they do a fantastic job. And one thing I do want to ask about, you mentioned, was host families, and it's something that seems like goes under the radar during the Futures League, but they're so important to everything that we do in
Mhm.
Worcester and across the league. It's people that care about the team and care about these players enough to host them for the entire summer. I just want to get your shout out for your host family and for the host families around the Futures League.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to the Jaffe family. They treated me so well this past summer. They're such sweet people. I still text them all the time. I texted Sam a week ago about school and how baseball is going with him. They really just took me under their wing, and I mean it's hard for a family like that to bring in someone that they've never met before to live with them. So when they do it and they're providing you with food and a home and love, like I'm super appreciative of that. And I mean, yeah, it's tough in the beginning going into a host family for sure, not knowing them, and I'm sure it's the same thing with the host family bringing the player. But it seemed like nearly right away I felt at home, and that's the biggest thing that you could ask for.
Yeah, we appreciate all of our host families and everything they do, and that's great that that they took you in like that. And again, as you said it, they don't know you. They don't these guys
Hmm.
these families don't know these players, and they take them in and treat them so well throughout the summer. So we could not be more appreciative.
Exactly. Yep.
And I've asked this to a lot of the players on this podcast, and you will be no different here. How do you believe summer baseball prepared you for your season at Fordham?
I would say the reps. I mean, playing 70 games against some pretty good competition. Um, just being able to see live pitching, playing in that competitive atmosphere, I would say that's definitely the biggest thing. Being able to get those reps against that level of competition.
On your bio at Fordham and at your time in Worcester, you played both first base and outfield. I'm just curious which one you are kind of more comfortable.
Um, I would say I'm pretty comfortable at both. First base has been the position I've played for pretty much my whole life. But then once I got to high school and I got a little bit faster and not as fat, I started playing more outfield. And I would say I enjoy playing outfield more. Um, First base can get pretty boring, just catching balls from the infield, and outfield you get to throw people out and run down fly balls. And it's also new to me, so I feel like I'm taking a lot more time out there and I'm enjoying it out there a lot more. So I say I feel comfortable with both, but outfield for me right now is what I'm working on the most, what I'm playing more often. So
When you like before the day is announced, I'm sure you know what position you're playing kind of going into a new day on the field. But is there a mentality shift based on whether what position you're playing, whether it's outfield or first base?
no, not really. I mean the pregame prep is a little bit different. I'm doing my infield stuff if I'm playing infield and outfield if I'm in the outfield. Um just like my daily routine with the drills I'm doing during BP. I'll be up in the infield if I'm at first base, and then I'll be shagging if I'm in the outfield. So it's not anything too different, just a little bit different prep.
Hold on, we'll get right back to the futures, but first, we want to share a message from our friends at 78 Sports. Do you have kids playing baseball or softball? We all know practice time is limited, especially here in New England, not to mention the cost of lessons and cage time can add up very quickly. Save yourself time and money by giving your kids what they need to work on their game at home. Our friends at 78 Sports can help you put together the perfect at-home training setup. Whether you want to start small with just a tee and a net, or looking to set up a full cage with turf and a pitching machine, they have you covered. And I've used their stuff before. I've seen their facilities. They definitely cover everything. The team at 78 Sports design and install hundreds of at-home and commercial sports training facilities. So let them help you find the perfect setup for your space. Visit the 78 Sports website at 78sports.com. That's SEVENTY, the number 8, sports.com. For a limited time only, by just mentioning Back to the Futures, you'll receive a 10% discount off your order. That's SEVENTY, number 8, sports.com. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
And we're recording this on Tuesday, so we're a couple days after it has wrapped up. But the World Baseball Classic is going on right now, and it wraps up this week. And what an incredible tournament it has been. I'm sure you've been following. How important do you think that is to baseball and growing the game? Because people always say that baseball is a dying sport, but based on that, the attention that this has got, it doesn't look like it's dying anytime soon.
Yeah, I would. If you look at the Miami Marlins stadium, I wouldn't say baseball is dying. That stadium seems packed, and I know a few guys that have been to a few of the games, and they've said that they've never been in an atmosphere that's been louder, especially after the Trey Turner Grand Slam. So yeah, I think it's huge for baseball seeing different fan bases from around the world coming together and cheering on all these MLB superstars and guys from overseas. So yeah, I would say it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's definitely good for the game.
Yeah, it's great for the game for sure. And transitioning to your time at Fordham, you're now a sophomore. And I want to ask, from freshman year to now, what has been the biggest lesson that you've took in from the many people that I'm sure have been in your ear, giving you advice over the last 2 years?
I would just say being consistent with everything you do, and being mentally is being on top of your game. Like, you have to have a routine with everything you do between the schoolwork, the baseball stuff, the social life, everything comes into play. And with baseball, especially at the D1 level, it plays such a huge role in your life. And it can get mentally draining very, very easily, especially when you go through slumps and tough games. So I would say those are the two biggest things: making sure that you have a routine every day, be consistent, and mentally just being on top of yourself, being there for your guys when they need you. And yeah, I would say those are the 2-3 biggest things.
Yeah, you talk about routine and balance, and I've talked with a few guys this season on the podcast about it. What routine do you try and get into to make sure that you keep up with the schoolwork while also, keeping your focus on the baseball field and the social life, as you said, and everything else that comes with college normally, not even just being an athlete?
Yeah. One thing I learned is sleep. My trainer has stressed out a lot to us is sleep and recovery. So I would say that, and then just go day by day, making sure that like you're on top of your schoolwork, don't push anything back. If you have something to do, just bang it out, because you don't want stuff piling up. That's when things get really stressful, especially in season. And then baseball wise, I like to keep it simple, so I'm not like overthinking anything. Get to the field like a little early, just do the things that make you feel most comfortable, most prepared. And yeah, I would say those are the most important things.
Yeah, sleep is definitely an underrated one.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta sleep. You gotta get your rest in order to, as you said, play every day, practice every day, do what you guys do every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as a member of the A10, you see plenty of Futures League competition spread across the conference. What's it like kind of playing in those games and seeing guys that you've played with in Worcester and played against in the league already?
Yeah, it's pretty cool being able to see them. It's weird seeing them in different uniforms because you play them so much in the Futures League. But it's cool seeing a lot of the guys, a lot of them are succeeded and really tearing it up. So shout out to all them, all the guys from the Futures League. It's it's really cool actually being able to see them and seeing them do well.
Yeah, and one thing about the Futures League is the fact that it's not just D1 guys competing during the summer. It's D1 through D3 and just an immense competition all the way through. So what is it like being a D1 player and having the opportunity to play against these D2, D3 guys in the Futures League?
It's pretty cool, but we don't even really view it like that between the D1, D2, and D3 guys because there's guys that are D3 that are some of the better guys in the league where if you're facing a guy and you're like, oh yeah, this kid goes to a D3 school, but he's still throwing upper 80s and spinning the ball really well, it's actually even more impressive. So I would say that's honestly something that's pretty cool is when you hear from coaches, there's talent everywhere, and then you finally see it. I feel like the Futures League was the first place I saw it personally. I would say it's actually really, really cool.
Yeah, and all these guys I've talked to guys from D2, D3, and they say the same thing. It's great to they obviously take pride in being part of D2, D3s, but it's awesome to have the Futures League as an opportunity to face everybody from every division, and it's just baseball in its simplest form. It's not
Yeah, that's spot on.
school.
Yeah, you're spot on there. Yep.
And we mentioned conference play. It's coming up for you guys. What do you have to do to compete in the A10?
Um, Biggest thing is just every team is good. Every team is good. It's not like in the A10 we have some teams that are significantly better than others, where teams that are going to be a breeze. So you got to eliminate like the errors. I would say the free bases. That's one thing that we stress a lot at Fordham that we keep tally of. The free bases, errors, stuff like that, because that's where you're really going to get beat because the talent level, it's not like there are guys that are going to come out and hit 10 home runs a game or below mid 90s by you. Everybody's pretty similar in the A10. So you just gotta teams that are hot end up going a long way. And I feel like right now where Fordham is, we're in a very good spot going in the A10 play. So just keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and those games will be super competitive and fun when they come up in the next couple weeks here. And back even further in high school, I have to ask right off the bat, you're 6'7", it's listed that in your bio, and you played baseball and basketball in high school. But you are 6'7", so why baseball?
Just what I've loved most. It's what I've been playing my whole life. And I guess I'm a little bit better at baseball than basketball too. So I guess that's just the route that I took. So I do miss playing basketball. Still, my roommate, he played basketball in high school too. He was a 1,000-point scorer in New Jersey, and he'll chirp at me and tell me to get my basketball shoes out and play him too. But I would just say that's what I love more, playing baseball over basketball.
That's fair. That's a fair point. But yeah. So all right, as a basketball player, like, you said you weren't better than you were at baseball, but what was your average? What did you average in points?
I did all right. I averaged like double,
There you
like
go.
12 points, 10 boards. Nothing too crazy. I was just your typical big man, setting the screens, grabbing the rebounds. So
And that's
nothing too special. A little post game.
that's what they need in high school right there. That's what
Yeah,
they're lacking.
exactly.
Before we return to Back to the Futures, we want to share a message from our friends at Zorian Bat Company. Rob Zorian started the company Zorian Bat Company in 2003, literally out of the trunk of his car in Davie, Florida. Within 2 years, he was selling his wood bat line to Major League Baseball and continues to manufacture the highest grade wood bats for Little League all the way up to the majors. Rob Zorian, founder and president of Zorian, says, I started the company in 2003 to service all baseball players in the United States and beyond. And after 19 years, our mission has not changed. We are very excited to have the opportunity to work with the Futures League and wish all of our players and coaches a healthy and successful season ahead. For more information about Zorian, visit their website, zorianbats.com. Zorian, America's baseball brand. Now, back to the Futures. So you were quite the high school athlete, as we mentioned, and baseball in particular. You attended multiple high schools, but I want to ask about one high school in particular, which was P27 Baseball Academy down in South Carolina. What led you there, and how important was it for you to attend a school like that before hitting Fordham?
Yeah, so P27 was a school that I knew a little bit about, but they were new at the time. They've only been around for a few years. One of my good friends, Cam Leary, went to a P27 for his senior year, so that's how I kind of knew about it. But yeah, COVID was a factor definitely, because my junior year, our season got canceled and we really didn't know what our senior year was going to be like, especially at a private school. We had a lot of kids traveling to school, a lot of commuters that were dorming on campus, so they were a little bit stricter with their rules. So that's one thing that kind of made me think about possibly transferring from my senior year. But I would say the biggest thing was P27 was the competition that we faced, and me knowing that I would reach my full potential as a baseball player there, training 7 days a week. We played probably 80 something games down south, and really it's like a baseball player's dream going down there. You really don't do much schoolwork. You're training every day, you're practicing every day. You have, like I said, we play like 80 games, and the competition level is insane down south. So I would say that was the biggest reason why I transferred, was to prep me for the next level, and also just because for my senior year I wanted to really just focus in and give baseball like everything that I had pretty much.
Yeah, and that must have been a big transition for you from going from, we'll talk about Stony Brook in a minute, which is the high school you used to go to, but going from there to P27, just a pure baseball academy. That must have been a big flip.
Yeah, it was pretty it was a wild turn, I guess you could say, because I had to move all the way down south. But at the same time, I was living with pretty much three of my best friends. They two of them transferred down there, and then one of them, Rob Evans, I didn't know beforehand, but we pretty much still talk every day to this day. Um, I mean, yeah, moving to a totally different state and focusing all the time that you have on baseball was it seems like a huge adjustment, but it was, like I said, it's a baseball player's dream. You got to do what you love every single day, and that's it. So
Yeah, that's what you want right there for sure.
yeah.
And we talked about Stony Brook in there a little bit, but when you went there, you had an incredible year there, hitting 484, and it ended with you as Player of the Year and Playoff MVP. How did that make you feel, kind of getting those awards and hitting the way you did? And what was your time at Stony Brook like?
Yeah, Stony Brook, that was being able to top off my career at Stony Brook with those awards it was pretty special. We also won the league championship, and that was like the first time we've won a baseball league championship in pretty much forever. So being able to come in and help those guys, and looking at what they're doing now with, I know they have Jaden Stroman, Marcus Stroman's brother there. They have a handful of Power Five commits there playing right now. They're traveling. They were in Georgia for spring break. So that's one thing that for me, I feel like extremely humbled, and I love looking at, is seeing where Stony Brook was before me and Joe Wozni. He was at UConn before we were there, and seeing where they're at now, it's like remarkable, honestly, the way that the baseball and even like their basketball program, their athletics are taking huge strides, and being able to see that is one thing that I'm extremely like humbled and excited about, because I talk to Dan Hickey, their athletic director, all the time. Dustin Moniz, their one of their coaches, he was the head coach when I was there. I still talk to him a bunch, and I guess just seeing the transition it's super special.
Yeah, and that led perfectly into my next question, which is about that league championship that you guys won. And you said it was the first one in a while, and you were a part of that. What did that mean to you?
It meant a lot for a lot, seeing the faces of all my teammates, the guys that were there for years. That's what I love the most about it. Seeing them happy and competing and the energy that they brought, that's what made me feel most special about it. And yeah, that's definitely a moment I won't forget.
That's awesome. And you also dabbled in the pitching game a little bit in high school, posting a 780 or 70 ERA. When did pitching kind of come off the table for you? And did you ever want to be a two-way player?
Yeah, I did. I was recruited to Fordham as a two-way. I pitched pretty much my whole life. Started at 13, and then I slowed down a little bit my senior year when I went down south. That was mainly because we had like 20 something dudes thrown in the 90s, so I didn't really need to pitch a whole lot. But yeah, I came into Fordham. I even pitched at Fordham. I through my freshman fall, and then I ended up breaking my hand. So I kind of shut that down, and then I pitched again this fall, and then I ended up tearing. I have a slap tear in my shoulder right now, so I'm doing rehab and stuff with that right now, so I can only play the field. I can't pitch. So yeah, I was recruited as a two-way, and I threw at Fordham too, but I just haven't got around to throwing pretty much in game, and I really don't know what I'm going to do with pitching in the future now that I've gotten hurt. But yeah, we'll see.
So you said that in your shoulder, does that affect hitting and feel? So you said it doesn't affect fielding. Does it affect hitting at all, or is that just a pitching
No, it doesn't affect hitting. So it's actually pretty common. I have a slap tear in my shoulder, and then I pretty much had to just get a cortisone shot, and I'm on like medication to help with my inflammation because the inflammation is what is giving me the pain when I throw. But I've been throwing the last 2, 3 weeks, and I'm doing outfield stuff now, and I still have the tear in my shoulder, but because of the rehab and the treatment I'm doing, I don't feel any pain. So
Yeah, that's good that that's not affecting your hitting, obviously, with the season being where it is.
yeah, yeah.
And I got a couple more questions before we wrap up here,
Sure.
and including this one. What has been the most influential part about summer baseball for you, whether it's something you learned or something you experienced in Worcester this past summer? Because I know you've been a part of multiple summer baseball leagues as well.
I would say the fans at Worcester. Pretty much every game you're having people come up to you. They know who you are. They know your name. They're always asking for autographs and pictures. Running camps and being around all the guys, even like meeting parents, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much for everything you do." Um, it's super humbling, and it makes you realize like baseball is just a game, and there's a lot more to life pretty much. And just that's one thing that I've never I've never experienced up until last summer in Worcester, was playing in front of a fan base like that. And I thought that was super, super cool, and also very motivating as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And final question here. What is your favorite all-time baseball memory?
Winning Cooperstown Dreams Park, for sure. I was 12.
All right, talk about that. That's awesome, right?
Yeah, I mean, went to Cooperstown. It was last week before school, I remember. And I was playing with the Long Island Sharks at the time, and went to Cooperstown, and we pretty much mercied every single team we played. And yeah, I pitched in the championship through a one hitter, I believe, and I hit 2 home runs, and we beat the team by like 12 runs in the championship too, and the stadium was packed. And as a 12-year-old, that's like the ultimate like baseball dream. Like that's what every kid wants to do, is go to Cooperstown and win it. So being able to go there and pretty much absolutely destroy it with all those guys I've been playing with for years, that's by far the greatest baseball memory I've had.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's one for the ages right there.
Yeah.
TJ, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining us today. Best of luck with everything going forward at Fordham, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. And this has been season 6, episode 6 of Back to the Futures, the official podcast of the Futures League. We have new episodes coming out every Thursday. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everyone soon.